you're in a sort of purple district.
Yeah.
You're a Democrat that has to run this fall. How do you manage that with a president with 41% popularity?
Well, first of all, I don't shy away talking about the Affordable Care Act and what it means to the healthcare system and people's access to affordable quality care. And I think if you run in a defensive position on that, you're missing an opportunity to try to explain why reforming the healthcare system was needed and long overdue. And that's been reflected at my listening session. I had a lot of listening sessions this week already throughout the district. And I'm hearing more positive stories of the effect of the ACA on people's lives than the critics. And in fact, when the critics show up, they're not very substantive in their criticism. It's more in the realm of Obamacare, and they've already made up their mind, regardless of what the facts or data might point to with it. But I think, too, it's important for members to stay connected to their constituents, to their bosses, and hear what's on their minds. And I always felt that if you work hard, do an honest job, and stay connected to your state and the district, that the elections will take care of themselves. But I also recognize there's going to be a lot of outside spending. The Young Guns, this independent group out there, are already doing their flyers and mail campaign about the ACA and the myths surrounding Medicare cuts and whatnot.
Is President Obama an issue in his popularity an issue in your district?
I don't think much. I think people have made up their mind one way or the other.
Okay.
And I think the people in Wisconsin are a little more pragmatic. They tend to focus on the individual, regardless of what party you're coming from, and assess the job that you're doing and what you stand for. And don't get caught up so much in the national partisan hype.
In recent weeks, there have been some political pundits saying that there's a possibility that Democrats could lose the Senate. If that happened, how would that affect the legislative agenda going forward?
Well, it would make things, I think, much more difficult as far as what the president wants to accomplish, obviously. But I think you're still dealing with a 60-vote rule in the Senate. It's going to be tough to overcome. Mm-hmm. So that status quo will remain regardless of who the majority party is. You would probably see more gotcha hearings, oversight hearings, inquisitions coming out of the Senate, similar to what you see in the House right now. I think one of the great missed opportunities with what we have with the current composition in Congress is not effective, honest oversight. I mean, I'm on Ways and Means, and I'm on the Health Subcommittee. We should be having a hearing once a week on what is happening with healthcare reform and the impact on the healthcare system in people's lives. Instead, hearings are very few, and when they are held, it's a gotcha hearing, just to try to embarrass the administration or put someone on the hot seat. Not very effective oversight, and we ought to be doing a lot more of that, especially if there's not going to be a lot of legislating coming out of the Congress these days. There's another important function we should be performing.
Obviously, you're in tune with state politics. What do you think the prospects are for Democrats in Wisconsin?
I think Mary Burke is going to be a strong candidate with a strong narrative. Governor Walker is having a hard time breaking 50. That usually is a warning sign for someone of his stature and name ID around the state. And she, I think, has an interesting story with the business background that she brings. She hasn't been part of the partisan squabble coming out of Madison. She had a successful tenure as Commerce Secretary when she was there with, I think, accolades on both sides of the job. And if people are looking for a fresh start and for the reconciliation process to begin in the state, she would be the obvious candidate and the obvious choice. But redistricting has made it hard. And it's, I think, increased the polarization in our political system, which is unfortunate. You know, you look at the congressional districts here in Wisconsin, and some of them got a lot redder and a lot bluer after the last redistricting. During that process, I had offered a map to Ryan and Sensenbrenner that actually made my district more competitive so that we could keep the other districts in the state more competitive as well. But they rejected that approach. And instead, they tried to throw more D's in Gwen and Mark's district, which obviously created more Republican districts in the other areas. And this was happening throughout the country.
My sense right now of Burke's campaign is that it's pretty low key. It's pretty quiet. Is that what she should be doing now, or should she be more aggressive?
She's been out. She's been making, obviously she's making contact with the grassroots out there, traveling the state quite a bit, and she's putting together her economic agenda that she'll be announcing shortly.